Hey everybody, welcome back. Today's video is going to be on these two Coleman lanterns that I found alongside the road down my street. People were moving out and they just had these at the driveway next to the road. What really caught my eye was the red one. I had never seen a red Coleman lantern before. So I turned around and I snatched them up and they were looking pretty poor. They were just really dirty. Obviously the mantles were disintegrated on them, but I figured, oh, this is going to be a quick fix, so I'm going to be able to put a little money into them and get them back to, great working order. And this is a 1968 Coleman. It's a single mantle. Both globes are the original. I'm guessing the original because they're both made in USA. There was nothing physically broken on them. So I took them home and just for the heck of it, I put new mantles on them, and I was trying to see if I could get them to work, but neither of them worked. So that was like, I knew that was going to happen. You can't just go down, grab a couple lanterns, put a couple mantles on it, and you're going to have perfect things. So I started to work on them, and I started a video on this one. I thought that easily I could just change the generator and it's going to be working fine. Well, my video went kind of kaput when I put a generator on there and it still didn't do anything. I thought it was going to be a quick fix. It didn't end up that way. I ended up having to put more parts in them than I thought, and it just took a long duration because I had to keep reordering. I'm going to go over each lantern. I'm going to let you know what I did to get it to working order, and then I'm going to fire them up because they both work just like brand new. And I ended up having to get a tool for one of them because this needed the 220F needed a lot more work, and the 220F is a 1971. So I'm gonna go over each individual lantern, and I'll show you what it took for me to get them to the condition that they're in now. So I'm gonna start with the 200A. One thing I noticed right off the bat was there was this ring on here. I really wasn't sure what it was. So I took it apart, and it ends up being, so it came with, it has a rubber O-ring, so it keeps it, I don't know about waterproof, but it's water resistant. It came with a wrench for the generator. It also had a spare generator, which was no good. It came with a spare flint starter. Originally, this was mounted inside the lantern, and all it is it's just like a Zippo lighter. And this one works fine. I got rid of it just because I think it's easier just using a match. So the mantle that I used in the 200A was a number 21, which is the same mantle that I use in the 220F. So I ended up putting a new mantle on it, and I took both of these out because the plunger cups had both been, this was very, very dry. This cup ended up coming with the leather one, and the 220F ended up coming with the neoprene or rubber. So I wanted to keep this one the same as what it was, so I ended up buying the pump cup and a backup plate, which is the leather one. I took this apart and everything was pretty good in here. It was very clean. There was really no rust pitting or anything down in the chamber where this went to. So I ended up replacing the cup. And I kept the original cap because the new caps, if anyone knows, it just seems so boring. This has an O on it for oil, so I wanted to keep this one because this one seems a little more heavy duty. It also came with new D-clips or whatever they are, these little clips that hold it in. So that's the original. The only thing that I replaced was the leather cup. Now the difference between the leather cup and the neoprene is that the leather cup you want to use neatsfoot oil, because neatsfoot oil is good for leather. So I just put a bunch in a, this is an old pill bottle, and I just let it soak up. And when it was nice and pliable, I ended up replacing it and putting it back into the part here. This cap is the original one. It's the one that has the screw on the side of it, or the screw on top. And I ended up changing the generator because I took the generator off. Actually, both of these lanterns, I did take them all the way down to the housing here for the gas. So I was able to clean it out and make sure there wasn't any rust in there. So I used carb clean, and I also used compressed air. So this was nice and clean on the inside. So I replaced the generator. I put another mantle on it, and this one started fine. So this one was working. The only problem I had with the 200A is that it seemed to flare up a lot. So looking at it, I'm not sure why the difference is. This is orange down here and this is reddish, but it was blackened. So I'm thinking, I'm not sure really what the flare up was from, but I've seen on a lot of videos that people did have flare up on when you initially started it. So I've been using these for months now, so I kind of know how to fine tune it, so I don't really get the flare up as I did originally. This one was the easiest of the two to repair. Now, the 220, again, I took it all the way down. I cleaned out the reservoir for the fuel. I removed this piece here, the plunger, and inside the cylinder it had a lot of rust. So I ended up taking carburetor cleaner, and I used emery cloth, and I was sticking my finger in there, and I had it with around a piece of wood. I was able to get rid of the pits because I think that's probably what wore out the cup. So the original neoprene cup in this, I ended up replacing it with the leather, just because the leather seemed to really work well in the 200A. So I also had to change the generator. The generator wasn't working very well. That little cleaning rod that comes through, it was missing. So I had it together and I started it up, and it was just kind of going very slowly until it finally just it petered out. So I started to look into it more. I pumped it up, and I realized that this wasn't really holding pressure. This one needed a little more work. This one I had to replace the check valve and air stem assembly, which is what this slides onto. It has an O-ring on it. You can see right here, there's an O-ring on it. I tried getting it out with a pair of needle nose pliers, and that didn't work. Not realizing that there's a special tool for it. So I ended up buying the tool again from Amazon, and it was only $30-something. So I figured it's well worth it for me because I do have 4 of the full-size lanterns, and I do have a small exponent here too. Got it together, started it up, and it still wasn't really holding. It wasn't holding pressure. So I realized that the cap was leaking. I took a look at the cap, and the gasket was pretty much chunked out. So I removed it, and I ended up buying these. These are on from Amazon also. This is the rubber gasket that goes for your cap, but it doesn't really fill the whole area, and it's not very tight. So when I was using this, it was still losing air. So, well, after replacing the check valve and air stems assembly, I figured I would get a new cap. So I bought an aftermarket cap. I'm not really happy with, just because it's brass. It doesn't go with it. And they changed. The new style is just a big flat gasket on here, and it's held in by, it's peened over here a little bit. I've heard mixed reviews, but this is what actually got me so I was able to get my lantern going. Also, the generator, the one that I had replaced, the little cleaning rod ended up getting bent. So I had to order it again. That took more time. But so this one took 2 generators, the check valve and the air stem assembly, mantles, many mantles. I went through a bunch of mantles, but they're readily available also. And I ended up getting the cap. So that's what it took for this one to get to where it is now. And anyone that has Coleman lanterns, these things are great. You can pump them up. They make a little bit of a hissing noise, but they illuminate very well, and they'll just run for hours. Every now and then you just have to pump it up a little more to get them going. So I bought a bunch of the neoprene rubber, the neoprene cups for the pump assembly, and it comes with the little hold down screw with the little pressure washer. But this one, like I said, I ended up going with the leather one here and the leather one here, and they seem to be working very well. I went through a bunch of number 21 mantles. This is the pump cup that I bought, and as you see, everything it's all Coleman. The only thing that wasn't really Coleman was the cap. The cap seemed to be aftermarket. And then the generator, I bought another generator for the 220 just because I have another 1967 220F. So my question to anyone out there, if they've had a problem with the cap and they replaced it with aftermarket washer, should I put some sort of glue on here to fill the void, because it doesn't really cover the entire area. So this was leaking. So after replacing the cap and all of this, I pumped it up and it held pressure for a couple hours. So then it was able to work like it is now. So I'm going to go and I'm going to fire up each one. I think this is my favorite one, just because it's something that I never had before. I never had a single mantle. I never had a single mantle lantern, and it does illuminate very, very well. So I'm going to go ahead and start this one first. This one has a little bit of pressure. I don't count my strokes. I just kind of pump it up until you get a squeak. There's a squeak. And I always rotate the cleaner for the generator a couple times. I'm going to have it open at a quarter turn. I actually have to open this a little more than a quarter. It's a little humid, so this stuff is so it's going pretty good now. I'm just going to clean the generator again. When it kind of settles down is when I'm going to start opening it up. And then I just pump it up a little more. So this one's working great. We're going to go ahead and shut it down. Now we're going to do the 220. So this one's starting from no pressure because I took the cap off. I'm just going to give it like 30 pumps or so. Gonna go ahead and rotate the cleaner for the generator a couple times. Open it a quarter turn. It's a little humid today. We're getting rain, so my match is low. There we go. We get a good pop there. Nice bright flame here. The mantle's nice and glowing. Gonna open it all the way up and gonna pump more. There's the squeak. So I'm good there. It's just such a great lantern to have. I mean, for camping, obviously, but when the power goes out, these things just give such good light. It's a nice warm light, and they'll go for hours. You just have to every now and then pump them up. And they both take white gas. I like white gas better than the propane, just because the white gas, they're the original ones. They're the ones that Coleman started with. Going to go ahead and power it down. Now, considering that I found these on the side of the road and they weren't in working condition, it just took a little bit of money to get the parts needed. I learned to take my time when taking them apart and to make sure you get rid of all the rust that was down in the cylinder here for this pump cup. Clean everything out, put it back together, all new parts. These are going to last for a really long time. The biggest expense was the tool for removing this here. Well worth it. Because I think if I had kept going with needle nose pliers, I would have ended up ruining something. So they both work great. And anyone, like I said, anyone that has Coleman lanterns knows that these things are perfect. And the price of them is outrageous for new ones, and the new ones aren't the same because everything's made in China. You get your globes made in China. They just don't seem to have the same appeal. Just driving down my road, finding two lanterns, I never thought that I would have two great working lanterns just like brand new. This one was a bonus because I think this thing is awesome. Single mantle, very bright. It's a little smaller. It's easier to carry. And it came with this cool little bottom piece that had room for extra parts. And if I wanted to, I could mount this, the flint. But I like doing it with the match. So keep your eyes open, be it on the side of the road or at tag sales. If you can get them cheap, it doesn't take a lot to get them back running to almost like new. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.